Dear audience, ladies and gentlemen, I am thrilled and absolutely overjoyed to finally be able to stand on this stage, to debate about something that is undeniably a part of our reality, something that may lead us towards an apocalyptic, disastrous end. The end of humankind. Now, to be clear and not to confuse anyone, what I stated concerning our possible doom is not in any way possible related to some preposterous made-up fantasy and truly grotesque image painted by the Hollywood industry. What I'm stating are facts. Facts that AI technology is an indubitable threat to humankind. With this clarified, let's proceed. And to do so, dear audience, I'll be once again stating the obvious by answering the following question. What's AI? AI stands for artificial intelligence, which means machines capable of thinking on their own, upgrading by themselves, and reasoning in a way that was made to be superior to the average human. Now, when things are presented this way, it's easy for the brain to build non-logical scenarios and digress. But let's use reason for a moment. And I'll ask you to bear with me. It is now established that many miscomprehend that the harm humanity might have to endure because of AI can take several forms. Although the one that is more likely to ruin humanity, or at least the majority of it, is the one that might harm its less privileged population. Let me explain. We've all heard at some point that technology is taking over, that the human won't have a place in the equation anymore. Well, these words might become a reality sooner than we think, for I have found an interesting example. In China, a factory decided to fire 90% of its employees. 90%, which means 90 out of 100 people are now left jobless without a stable income and left with nothing to feed their loved ones. Isn't that cruel? But it doesn't stop there, because by doing so, the owner of the factory did in fact gain a slightly increased amount of benefits, but at what cost? Because let's be honest here, the only ones that may benefit from this disastrous treachery are the ones that are at the top, with the most coin, with power. So, I'll ask you this. Is it really worth it to sacrifice hundreds, thousands, millions of people for a couple of dollars more? The answer is quite obvious to me. I just hope it is as clear and obvious to you as well. Thank you.
Since 1956, artificial intelligence has become ubiquitous in our digital lives. It has opened a new chapter, a golden age, where we are now solving problems with machine learning and artificial intelligence that were in the realm of science fiction for several decades. Ladies and gentlemen, dear audience, honorable juries, members of the governments and classmates, welcome to our first debate. I cannot tell you how thrilled, delightful, and honored I am to be here, standing on this amazing stage as an lucky eagle, free to debate today's topic and hopefully much more. Therefore, in today's debate, our motion is artificial intelligence will harm humanity. Now we as today's opposition strongly believe that it is not true. But before I come to my actual argumentation, let's travel to the future, since our whole topic is just a probable outcome that shouldn't be neglected. And since she didn't bother to define every single word. She did not bother to define every single word and preferred to leave you in the darkness. Allow me to be the light that will enlighten your day and give you more precise knowledge. According to Stanford University Human-Centered Artificial Intelligence, John McCarthy, and indeed a very reliable source, John McCarthy, an emeritus computer science professor and one of the founding fathers of artificial intelligence, defined AI as the science and engineering of making intelligent machines. In other words, AI is the simulation of human intelligence. Processed by computer systems. Furthermore, if we dig deeper into the topic, it is extremely important to realize that expresses the future, and not a single soul can get their hands on the unknown. And I dare you to say otherwise. Granted, speculations vary widely because AI appears complex and opaque, and it is no wonder that the general view about AI has turned cautious, even negative. It is indeed mandatory that we give our whole undivided attention to each and every aspect of AI's development, but it is also important to balance these concerns with exposure to the full picture to this crucially important technology's potential. To this crucially important technology's potential. And I believe that, like most technologies, AI will produce more positive than negative impacts in our society. Hold on, my bad. I just realized I have been talking for a few minutes, and yet I still haven't formally introduced myself. My name is Mark Zuckerberg, and I'm a very successful American businessman, as well as founder and CEO of Facebook. I have spent more than 3 decades at the cutting edge of artificial intelligence development and research, and I have explicitly stated in one of my interviews that AI is going to deliver so many improvements in the quality of our lives. It is already helping us basically diagnose diseases by matching up drugs with people dependent on what they're sick of, which leads to better healthcare. Another key point is self-driving cars are going to be safer than people's driving, because one of the top causes of that is car accidents. And if we eliminate it with AI, it's going to be a dramatic improvement in our lives. This speaks volumes about how AI will never be able to take over our humanity. Henceforth, it's easy to get weighted down by the fear and anxiety of artificial intelligence, but it's largely fear of the unknown. Artificial intelligence is and always will be a tool. How we use it and how it evolves is up to us. Artificial intelligence doesn't have to spell our end. It has the potential to boost our humanity and our compassion. And there is no reason we can't hope for a bright AI-augmented future. Thank you.
Dear opponents, saying that my teammate left you in the dark is quite courageous of your part. Is quite courageous for you. Are being extremely impatient because I'm about to complete the previous definition. Ladies and gentlemen, lovely opponents, whenever we hear artificial intelligence, we automatically think about something smarter than the human mind. But we also tend to think about softwares, something that we created, that we wrote, and that we own. The difference here is that artificial intelligence is a software that writes itself. It writes its own updates. It renews itself. Nowadays, a machine can write itself at a speed that us humans can hardly understand. It becomes independent. It creates its own way of thinking. And at this point, it becomes dangerous. Artificial intelligence has become a behind-the-scenes component of many aspects in our lives. Like from the virtual assistant like Siri or Alexa to the suggestions of our favorite TV programs. According to Stuart Russell, a computer scientist known for his contribution to artificial intelligence, the danger with the future of AI is the general AI that can perform many different tasks very well. A computer mind that improves, learns, and thinks like a human, or even exceeds the level of human intelligence. A common thought that I'm pretty sure every single one of us here have thought of, or even imagined, is a scenario where AI is the dominant form of intelligence on Earth. On Earth. With computers or robots taking control over the planets away from the human species. The worry arises from the possibility that machines may become smarter across the board, that they will develop general purpose capabilities. A common sense idea that having something smarter than you could potentially be a risk. But the possible risks are not immediate. Yet, the need to start thinking about how to keep those systems under control and to make sure that the behavior they produce, the decisions they make, are beneficial to us is urgent. That's why, according to researchers, future intelligence machines should be coded with a kill switch to prevent them from getting out of control. An AI kill switch is a mechanism for restricting intelligence the machine's intelligence, by which humans who remain in control can intervene or override the decision-making process. Anyway, we all here are thinking the same thing. Machines taking control over the world, it will not happen anytime soon. Some say that it will happen 100 years from now. Others say that it will never happen. But let's be fair. How many times were you given a task to do in 24 hours, and you said that it was impossible, or you said that you can't do it, yet you still managed to accomplish that task in less than 24 hours? What I want to say by that is that sometimes things can go from never and impossible to happening in less than 24 hours. So let's stop being ignorant and let's be aware. Thank you.
First of all, I want to point out one thing. AI doesn't evolve unless there's human assistance. It's limited in data. The same data, it works on little by little, so independent isn't the right word to describe it. The earliest successful AI program was written in 1951. Since then, and along with the development of programming and computer science, many fields have known nothing but growth. In simple words, AI enables a computer to do fast and accurate testing that shortens the development process and shortens the rates of failure. Instead of being done by a human, which in spite of versatility, error risks remain high. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the 21st century, as we all know, and I'm sure that anyone in this room, most if not all, own a smartphone. A gadget blooming with artificially intelligent programs that keep it running as well as for you. Anything from Google Assistant, Siri, predictive text, predictive search, and the list goes on. We've complied to a society where most fields require AI, including and especially this one. Now, let me point out one thing before we go deeper into the subject. And let me define the basic characteristics of what an artificial intelligence is. AI is a program designed to do three main things. First one is general learning, the ability to react appropriately to a certain situation using the right info. Reasoning, to make decisions based on circumstances, and problem solving, using the given input. And thanks to these characteristics, and depending on the purpose of use, we have two categories of AI. There is narrow AI, also known as weak AI, which is an artificial intelligence that only focuses on a single task, nothing more. It runs commands dependent on the data given to it. It runs commands only on the data given to it, and a robot that can play chess can play checkers, for example. Strong AI, a more advanced type of AI, which can even show emotions and express self-awareness. And if you want examples of those, go watch science fiction movies, because they're really the only examples there are. Because the sole goal of AI is to learn from existing situations and predict and analyze outcomes, which I sincerely fail to see how it could be harmful towards us humans. I've read a post recently about an ongoing concept in the medical field. It consists of a vest, a very sophisticated one. It's equipped with high sensitivity sensors, which gather or take the human vitals. And using strong and narrow AI, and using very skilled narrow AI, it would be able to determine a potential heart attack from the data given to it by the human vitals, a potential heart attack before it happens. Therefore, giving the patient enough time to react and move to the closest emergency department to get treated professionally. Examples and concepts like this are already in use, and many of them are already existing. And we both know that, and we both know that. So do you still think it is appropriate to assume that they're harmful? Also, according to Gartner, an IT research and consultancy company, 91.5% of leading businesses invest in AI on an ongoing basis. It also tells us that by the year 2023, customer satisfaction is expected to grow by 25% in organizations that use AI. I'll let you analyze that. Thank you.
I'll ask you, dear opponents, to check your knowledge, because independence is how Russell, a computer scientist, described the abomination you defend with such passion. Now, all of us are quite aware of why we assembled here today. Standing in the 21st century, it is obvious that we're all aware of the great advantages of technology and its impact in our lives. So to start with the motion of the day, I feel honored to have been allowed to put forward my view on artificial intelligence. I'm aware of the impact of artificial intelligence in our society, or better to say, in the world in a wider aspect. But I stand here to strongly oppose the motion. Though I would like to say that I do agree on some advantages of artificial intelligence in today's world, but the negative sides of it are more dangerous. Several medias and specialized publications mentioned the stark warnings regarding the impact of artificial intelligence for the future of humanity, which has been coming from a wide range of globally recognized and respected science, technology, and business leaders with very influential voices. Several of them mentioned artificial intelligence as a potential threat for humanity. Think about people like Elon Musk, Bill Gates, Stephen Hawking, are influential indeed. Now, this tree and many others are warning about the potential dangers of superintelligence, maybe even intelligence we don't understand. And is there anything humans fear more than what they can possibly not understand? When Bill Gates expressed his concerns about AI, this is what he said: "I am in the camp that is concerned about superintelligence. First, they will do a lot of jobs for us and not be superintelligence. That should be quite opposite. That should be quite positive if we managed it well. Then, a few decades after that, though, intelligence is quite strong to be a concern." I agree with Elon Musk with this, and don't understand why people seem not to be concerned. If a superintelligence AI system is not built to respect our values, then its actions could lead to global catastrophe or even human extinction, as it neglects our needs in pursuit of its task. The superintelligence control problem is a problem of understanding and warning these risks. We see a strong link between the debates regarding artificial intelligence and those about data, ethics, and privacy. Let's explain. Many businesses claim they will improve the lives and experiences of their consumers when they share their data. In marketing, where data-driven is the talk of the day, providing data enables personalization and a better and more relevant experience. For instance, by receiving personalized promotions and seeing personalized content. But do consumers buy this official explanation? Do they trust it, let alone care about it? They lost confidence and are increasingly distrusting the message that sharing their data will improve their lives. Is this a temporary phenomenon? And will people in the end simply feel that life is indeed better when they share their data? We guess it depends on whom they share it with and whether that promise of a better life is really true. Until now, we can't really say that marketing automation and data-driven have made our life more enjoyable, but that's us. Thank you.
Dear audience, dear jury, I'm certain that my opponents may come off to you as too certain about AI, and that it will take over humanity in the future, and that it will harm humanity as well. And that we should do something about it in order to avoid this tragic ending of ours. Well, let me tell you this. I'm sure that Oppenheimer, the father of the atomic bomb, probably thought the exact same thing while making the bomb, which later menaced the human. But we're still here, unthreatened by the weapon in itself, but by the beholder, thus the human. And guess who is more menacing this time? Not the weapon. Or again, Henry Ford, the inventor of the modern car. Mr. Ford probably thought a lot about whether he should create a modern car and whether it will harm the human life and cause accident in the future. He didn't think about it, and he made one of the greatest human... I'm sorry. He didn't think about it, and he made one of the greatest human inventions in the world, which helped mankind a lot. And again, unthreatened by the car, but by the driver, thus the human again. I'll let you guess who is more menacing this time. You see, dear audience, the point I'm trying to make here is that AI isn't a threat in itself. It's a machine that has complex math equations inside of it, and it operates whether the situation's outcome is more equal to this or more equal to that. The idea of intelligence in artificial intelligence is just a marketing. It's just a marketing move. A smartphone isn't really smart. It's just capable of transmitting data and managing voice calls. So to go back to what I was saying, AI isn't the real threat. The human is. So if the progress in artificial intelligence is managed and supervised, not because AI is unpredictable, but because the human is, AI won't make any problem in the future. And one more thing, as sarcastic as it may sound, not only AI won't do any harm to the human in the future, but it saved human back in the day. By cracking coded Nazi messages sent on Enigma computers back in the day, which were known as the first computers and message coders and encryptors, Alan Turing's machine cracked thousands of messages daily, which led to unveiling future plans and decisions planned by the Nazis, aka Germans, and thus making a crucial contribution in the war. So by using AI, Alan Turing saved millions of lives and changed the course of the war and the humankind's future. And to go back to what my position was saying before, the way AI is used depends on humans. AI can't use itself according to what she thinks can lead to something else. It's just math equations, nothing more, nothing less. And that's it.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am as honored as one could get to stand here before you and show you the reality of our future, the future of humanity that our dear opponents are trying to hide with their twisted version of reality. In 2017, a year prior to his death, Stephen Hawking told an audience in Portugal that AI's impact could be violent unless its rapid development is strictly controlled. Unless we learn how to prepare for and avoid the potential risks, AI could be the worst event in the history of our civilization, he explained. And considering the unfathomably horrible events in the world, in the history of our world, that is really saying something. The late physicist was far from alone in his exceedingly skeptical views. In March 2018, at the South by Southwest Tech Conference in Austin, Texas, SpaceX and Tesla founder Elon Musk issued a friendly warning. Mark my words, he said, billionaire, casual in a furry-colored bomber jacket. AI is far more dangerous than nukes. And the outspoken Musk has repeated a version of these premonitions in other settings as well. I am really quite close to the cutting edge of AI, he said. And it scares the hell out of me. It's capable of vastly more than almost anyone knows. And the rate of improvement is exponential. Now, dear opponents, you may not agree with Musk that AI is more dangerous than nukes. But what happens when AI decides to launch these biological weapons? Or say, the enemy manipulates data and returns AI-guided missiles to whence they came. Both are possibilities, and both are disastrous. Unlike nuclear weapons, AI requires no costly or hard-to-obtain raw materials. So they will become ubiquitous and cheap for any significant military power to mass produce. And it will only be a matter of time before they appear on the black market in the hands of terrorists, dictators wishing to better control their populace, warlords wishing to perpetrate ethnic cleansing. Autonomous weapons are ideal for tasks such as assassinations, destabilizing nations, or subduing populations, and selectively killing a particular ethnic group. Autonomous weapons are artificial intelligence systems that are programmed to kill. In the hands of the wrong person, it can easily cause mass casualties. Moreover, an AI arms race could inadvertently lead to an AI war that also results in mass casualties. To avoid being thwarted by the enemy, these weapons would be designed to be extremely difficult to simply turn off, so humans could plausibly lose control of such a situation. Here's an example of autonomous weapons. Slaughter bots, also known as lethal autonomous weapon systems, or killer robots, are weapons that use artificial intelligence to identify, select, and kill human targets without human intervention. This technology is already here, and it poses some huge risks. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, first I want to start by saying to the government whip that the way AI is used depends on humans. AI is barely a tool smart enough to type numbers as told. Ladies and gentlemen, dear members of the jury and dear opponents, good morning. I'm so honored to be here debating such an important matter and clarify some things that our dear opponents may have ignored. Firstly, I want to start by saying that I've noticed that our dear opponents started blaming AI a lot. But if they read the topic of our debate very well and understood it, they can see that there is nothing to blame in this story. Because if they start blaming AI, I will start blaming human, and we will keep turning in circles without reaching our goal. So please, dear government members, please show some serious and efficiency, unlike AI, according to you. Secondly, I noticed that I've noticed that they said that artificial intelligence will take over jobs, but they have forgotten that just the fact that AI is a new domain or field does give a lot of opportunities to reach financial stability, just as crypto, freelance, e-commerce. These are the most trending and efficient ways to make money nowadays. So don't tell me that AI will make a problem about unemployment. Plus, you, dear audience, let me give you the first, the most efficient proof. You, dear audience, we all know that the first countries economically are USA and China. And according to Investopedia, USA represents 23.93% of the global economy, and China represents 18.45%. And we all know that these two countries are the countries that uses the most AI. Also, this is what created a huge gulf between these two countries. But let's go back in time for a little bit. China has moved from being a normal country economically in 1997 to the second one economically in 2010. And China's global global share of research papers in the field of AI has vaulted from 4.33 in 1998 to more than 27.68 in 2017, surpassing any other country in this field. Plus, USA has more than 2,000 active firms in the artificial intelligence field. Plus, these countries has an employment rate that doesn't surpass 4%. Do you realize, dear audience, that these two countries are the country that uses the most artificial intelligence, and these countries are the first ones economically and the last ones in employment? Well, I think, dear opponents, you should stop fooling our dear audience, because whatever you say and whatever you predict, economy sees otherwise. Plus, let's not just stick to economy. Let's talk medically. Well, according to the Association of American Medical Colleges, the United States see and estimates a shortage of between 38 and 124,000 of scientists by 2023. And AI will save doctors' time and help people and save more patients. Plus, it is assisting doctors, nurses, and other healthcare professionals make the best diagnosis and make faster decisions on a course of treatment. And this is all based on the large amount of data that is currently exists. Plus, AI allows doctors to pinpoint effective drugs that may have been otherwise overlooked and can identify higher risk individuals before any human can. So, dear audience, dear opponents actually, you use artificial intelligence and you benefit from it. Isn't it bad to say that is the worst thing? Well, for me, I think hypocrisy is even worse. Thank you.
As I said before, and I will repeat it again, for our opponents can't seem to understand that their utopic, purely abstract version of future is utterly ridiculous, and here is why. First of all, us humans are made in a way that makes it impossible for us to stay put and do absolutely nothing. So that's why, to stay put and doing absolutely nothing. Because if I right this second ask you to visualize a world when now AI is doing absolutely every single thing, and I mean everything, including every job, what do you think 8 billion people would be doing in a world that is now purpose-free? And if you have the audacity to answer something as preposterous and naive as playing video games or watching TV, I'd say you're a self-absorbed monster who can't seem to think about anything else about themselves, apart from themselves. Because when we think about it, half of the population barely has a roof above their heads and a meal for each day. So I think it is now clear and established that it is easy for you to think about me, myself, and I, but when it comes to other people, it becomes a lot harder, and cruelty isn't so bad now.
Talking about Stephen Hawking is as ironic as talking about Elon Musk when they are the inventors of AI. The momentum behind AI is building, thanks in part to the massive amounts of data that computers can gather about our likes, our purchases, and our movements every day. Some believe that we're in the midst of an AI bubble that will eventually pop, or at least cool off. But our dear opponents, with more drastic and dystopian views, believe everything from the notion that AI will hijack our minds and form a utopian new race of human cyborg to the arrival of an AI-driven apocalypse. Each of these projections may be born out of genuine curiosity or understandable fear, but they miss the complete picture. Along with Zuckerberg, Sundar Pichai, CEO of Google, has also stated, and I quote, AI is probably the most important thing humanity has ever worked on. Anytime you work with technology, you need to harness the benefits while minimizing the downsides. Thanks to the downsides. With that being said, I cannot fathom how our dear opponents cannot fathom that AI will never take over our humanity. Thank you.
Dear audience, Darwin Among the Machines, an article published in 1863, written by Samuel Butler, has proved that machines are gaining ground upon us. Samuel Butler said that day by day, we are becoming more subservient to them. More men are daily bound as slaves to tend them. More men are daily devoting the energies of their whole lives to the development of mechanical life. The upshot is simply a question of time, but that time will come when the machine will hold the real supremacy over the world and its inhabitant. That's what no person of truly philosophic mind can for a moment question. I think that what Samuel Butler said is quite clear. Sooner or later, we will all agree that AI is dangerous. So let's start searching for solutions to the possible risks, and thank you.
Dear government team, you fear the word intelligent when, in our case, it only means a program that can run guided tasks without the human assistant every single moment like it once was. You don't need to sit in front of a computer and write code to every single task you want a certain program to do. You just let it do it on its own, but it's very guided, very strictly guided. Also, just the fact that AI is an ongoing field now that opens many opportunities of employment. What's important, dear government, and which is what you're missing the most, is since AI has served our species over the years, we have to make the most of it. You can't just shut down all AI programs and risk crashing your country's economy by fear of falling into some consequences we're not even sure of. The tension of denial of AI internationally is what could lead us into consequences we should be fearful of, since we humans have good history with well-managing conflicts. Thank you.
How lovely is it to listen? Because my teammate said before, our statements are not related to extravagant fantasies. As humans, we value our being human. And one of the holy grails, as it is, has been cherished for ages, is our intelligence. We emphasize it as a way to distinguish ourselves from other beings. We fear superintelligence, and we see it as a risk of what we believe sets us apart. We fear it because we don't know what it will be or might become. Overlooking these aspects and not seeing how human changes in behavior and definitions of value makes it impossible to predict what artificial intelligence could be. And it also makes it impossible to predict whatever in the end we will have. The collective will to accept our intelligence is just as in to allow something that is more than that. Super intelligence as is not mimicking but beyond and maybe above human intelligence. Intelligence that might beat the human intelligence that makes us human. Thank you.
Dear opponents, I'm asking y'all to embrace new technologies and stop being so pessimistic. Dear opponents, I'm going to say again. Dear opponents, I'm asking y'all to stop being so pessimistic about new technologies and embracing them. AI was originally created to help humans in the system in 1953. And nearly 70 years till now, it's still assisting humans. Just in case. And that's it.
And now we'll ask you, dear opponents, to stop being so idealistic. As we all know, AI is programmed to do something beneficial, but what you don't realize is that it develops a destructive method for achieving its goal. That happens whenever we fail to fully align the AI's goals with ours, which is strikingly difficult. You're probably not an evil ant hater who steps on ants out of malice, but If you're in charge of a project and there is an anthill in the region to be flooded, too bad for the ants. A key goal of AI safety is to never put humanity in the position of those ants. AI has the potential to become more intelligent than any human being. We have no surefire way of predicting how it will behave. The best example of what we could face is our own evolution. The people now control the planet, not because we're the biggest, strongest, or fastest, but because we're the smartest. If we are no longer the smartest, are we sure to remain in control? Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think our dear opponents have mistaken between realistic and idealistic. And now, to summarize everything, ladies and gentlemen, as our leader of the opposition said, the will in our topic refers to the future. And as we know, the future is uncontrollable but predictable. And as our dear opponents can predict things, we can predict them too. But the difference between us and them is that they see everything dark, but we see the light in the end of the tunnel. And I will just ask them a question. How much you are sure about your predictions? Because back in then, people used to fear innovation, has feared automobile vehicles, and feared that they will be replaced by them. And now, as we see, the automobile vehicles have become a must-have. And turns out there was no harm. So why wouldn't the same go for artificial intelligence? Thank you so much.